Hey guys, it's your bros over here from Gold Dang Bros Gaming. We've been busy at it for post rotation, getting ready for Atlanta this weekend. We've been talking about it for a couple weeks. I know we're both excited. Tons of stuff going down, lots of new decks out there, and I mean, good weather. So, Tiger, what are you most excited about coming up this week?
I actually used to live right outside of Atlanta in Stockbridge, so I'm excited to get back down there and get the warm weather, get some of the good food. I want to go to any of the people that are local there or have never been there. Taco Mac. It sounds like a really interesting taco place. It's a wing joint. It's kind of like your B Dubs with like 500 beers. It's going to
Nice.
they do flights, they do different sauces. It's really good food. If you're into the bar aspect, I would try a Taco Mac while you're down there.
Awesome. So there you go. You got a taco rec for ATL for all you goers going on down there. Also, Tiger, I noticed the setup you got is a little bit different. You want to tell everybody about what's going on there?
Yes, we're it's not quite finished yet, but we are starting to get the streaming rig and the recording area up and running. Got a new PC, got the some plushies, got to bling out the area, you know.
Nice, nice.
Um,
That's that. I
that
love
does
to
mean
see
that
it.
soon we will be up and doing Twitch streaming as well. So any of the bro followers that want to stay up to date on our deck lists and metagaming, we'll be doing that soon.
Yeah, be sure to follow us on Twitter at the Lucky Draw GG. We've been really getting a lot of things exploded out there. Like I said, it's been slow going, but we're getting everything growing out here, so that way we have the opportunity to really show you guys what we're working on, at our local tables every week in, week out before we go to regionals. So getting into it, we got the first major event after rotation. So all those F cards, all those Radiants, all those Vs, bye bye. All those ones you were relying on for getting set up. I mean, I talked about it. Greninja was pivotal for so many decks. You got Luminion for that supporter search. So many of those pieces are gone, and you see it affecting a lot of these decks out there. My biggest thing is I saw it affecting Dragapult a lot. I mean, Dragapult draws, don't get me wrong, but without a lot of these Vs, a lot of people were playing a Rotom and some other things that we aren't able to play now. Tiger, what's your look on that?
Yeah, losing Greninja, losing Pokestop, Luminion, Rotom V, but I think the most impactful card that a lot of these decks are going to lose, Forest Seal. It was
Yes.
Arvin's Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I get one piece and anything I want? Cool. Losing Forest Seal dropped massive amounts of consistency for a lot of decks.
Mm-hmm. And
And
now,
I think that is going to be the most impactful thing that we lost.
yeah, and say now you see that in the form of the Noctowl engine, Fan Rotom to Hoot Hoots to Noctowls. Any deck that can run it is running it. I mean, yeah, it's not a four seal any card, but if you can pick any trainer card out of your deck that fits the pieces to the puzzle, that's pretty huge too.
Yeah, two at a time, crazy.
All right, so we're looking at what the meta is going to shape into. We'll get a little bit later into what our top five is, but we do have some online results from this week. We've been trying to make it a point to play in more online tourneys, at least one a week. I think Sunday we're going to try to do that regularly. Back to what Tiger said about the Twitch channel. Be on the lookout for Sunday tournaments. Seems to be the thing for us to do. We did pretty well on Sunday. We played in the Blue Ditto online tournament, the Ditto Together number 2 for anybody that played in it. It actually had 256 players in it. It was a pretty big tournament. Both me and Tiger played in it. I ended up getting 33rd, running the Dango. Tiger got 24th with the Zard. We both made phase 2, which was cool. I kind of bumbled. I was rushing, had to go to work, was playing on my phone, made a mistake against the Terra Box. I haven't had a lot of matches with Terra Box, a good bit, but just they're still kind of tricky with Dango. I should have done something a little different. I see it now. Messed up that match, kind of had to back out of the tournament, but it was still fun all in all. Started 1 and 2 and then fought all the way back in to make phase 2. So I was happy with my performance. Tiger, why don't you tell them a little bit about you?
Um, Same thing. I made it into phase two. I took Charizard Noctowl. I've posted my list a couple places already on Twitter, on Facebook. We'll also have it here at the end of this video. Um, I had 3 losses. Two of them were the same person, both by getting donked by a Poison Moon deck, which I think is going to start picking up popularity. I'm going to look into making a build for it after Atlanta. It could be a surprise play. It kind of works like the Poison Archaludon, except for instead of having a stage 1 220 swinger, you have a basic I can KO anything I want swinger, but you still get the poison donk ability.
Yeah, poison has been huge in this meta. I've seen it so much. It almost. I was talking to the guys this week on live. I almost put 2 Pokemon down just to start, just in case that donk happens. Especially me playing Dango. Sometimes that happens. You only get a lone Dunsparce or a lone Gimme up there in the active, and you don't know what that player is gonna flip over. And next thing you know, it's poison, and you're getting donked before you even drew a card. So definitely that's something to be aware of out there. You also played in one on Tuesday, Tiger. I didn't get to play in this one. I was working. Gray's Pogi League had 140 players. Consistent, same thing. Got the top 8 with Zard, correct? Same list?
Yep. Same list. I got 7th place on this one. Also, my two of my losses were the same person. I lost to a Dragapult in phase 1, and then I hit him in top 8 and lost to him as well. Um, Unfair stamp is going to be, I'm calling it now, the most impactful aspect of Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, it's rough. I mean, it's supporter power in an item allows you to still play your supporter. I mean, whether you look at unfair stamp early, unfair stamp late, I mean, it is rough to come back from an unfair stamp. Even as a Dango player testing with Tiger, it's not easy to come back from an unfair. It doesn't matter if you have 7 draws on board. Um, it is very tough to come back from an unfair stamp. So be on the lookout for that little purple card. That's for sure.
For a lot of people, you don't have much draw power in these decks right now. If you're not playing Goldango or something with a Reverum in it, uh, the Dunsparce, most decks aren't having a whole lot of raw draw power right now. So that type of hand disruption in a multiple search deck, it KOs Terra Box. It's KOing Terapagos. It's KOing Charizard. It's just getting the job done because putting somebody to 2 cards in a search-based deck eliminates all plays.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the reasons why. What is it? There's 2 versions of Dragon Ball. The Crystal version is the aggro version, and the Unfair Stamp version is because they're scared of Wellspring. And Unfair Stamp just destroys Terra Box.
Yeah, once they get all those Noctowls and Hoot set, Noctowls in hand from a Fan Rotom start, and they got 8 on that bench. I was just staring at a game last night like this, and I'm sitting there with one lone gimme in the active, and I'm like, yeah, they're setting up. Um, but when you're looking at that, I mean, I know I don't play one in that deck, but thinking of it, if I had an unfair stamp, just going drop, put all those back down to 2. They had a plan for what was in their hand. I mean, they should expect something to change. This is a game we play, but
Mm-hmm.
that's devastating. It is just absolutely devastating.
Anybody who gets it's the same concept of Ionoing people after they get preemptively set up, but giving them 5 cards because they KO'd a single prizer or giving them 2 is a huge difference. Especially for players like Sean who do Goldango a lot. They did their Energy Search Pro,
Mm-hmm.
and then they KO'd. I don't know. Even if they took a 2 prizer, they still have to use 4 to 5 energies, and then you just shoved them all back in the deck.
Yep.
Everything left that was there. So they get their 8 energies, 1 for attachment, and then 4 for a KO because they took out a support mon or something. That's still 4 more energies going back into the deck, and they don't have any of their superiors or anything else like that because it's only getting them 4 energies back. They can't repetitively do that because they substituted all of their Earth and Vessels for this Energy Search Pro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, and to that
It's
point, the real life testing we've got has got me now in the habit of do not play that Energy Search Pro unless you need to. So to all my Goldango players out there, if you're going to Atlanta and you're running the Coin Man, Listen, if you don't need to play the Energy Search Pro, if you have the energy in hand, if you have a way to night stretch or something out of the discard to get enough numbers to get that KO, don't e-search. Don't do it. As much as I love e-search Pro for 8, it feels so good. But at the same time, when all those energies are in your hand, you're one disruption away from them all getting put back and you working so hard to find them again. And like Tiger said, most lists are not running more than one vessel anymore because you don't need it. By the time most games, your Energy Search Pro in a proper game plan, your Earthen Vessel is trash. But at this point, you did your eSearch Pro, the card's used, you're not getting it back, and now all those energies you got out are back in the deck.
Correct.
So definitely be aware of that. And that actually brings us right into the in real life games had the same results as our online testing for both Dango and Zard. I mean, we've played a couple. You guys played Saturday, right? Up at Morgantown.
Hmm.
How'd
Yeah.
that go for you? I didn't go to Morgantown.
We actually just met up and did some post rotation stuff. Didn't really do the local event. We just played there.
Mm-hmm.
But we did do one this past Monday.
Mm-hmm.
That
I was there.
you were
Yeah, I
not
was
there.
there.
Yeah, you were
I was
there.
there.
Okay. So this past Monday, I did go effectively 4-0. We only had 3 rounds, but I played one extra game with our previous guest star,
Yep.
Devin, the full grips 3K winner. Um, I played Charizard there. We beat Clefairy Box, which is just the Lilies Mons and Ogre Pawns. Uh, beat Dragapult, beat Mammothwine, and then beat Devin playing the Terror Box. And it's I will tell you guys right now, if you do not respect this deck, it will run you over.
Yes, please do. Terror Box
It
is out there.
Terror Box will run you over, but Charizard is where it's at, guys. Like
Yeah.
I am telling you right now, yes, Dragapult is a little scary, but Atlanta has like 2,500 masters. The chances of you hitting 3 Dragapults are very low. If you can, and even if you win one or ID with them, that still can get you into day 2.
Mm-hmm.
Charizard can beat everything else in the meta and is not as bad into Dragapult as people think it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I was there too as well. I was playing Dango, of course. I went 2-1. I actually lost my first game. It was a lesson here, and I do want a key point out of this as a judge, professor, fundamental coach, even though a complex coach is over there. Um, I was playing. I set myself up against the cornerstone. That was not the right move. Just because he had cornerstone, I ended up having no draws, nothing happened. That game one ended in like 5 minutes. It was a best of one, so my buddy Eric he won the round, but we played another one, and my mindset here was this is a best of three. So what I ended up doing is getting everything rocking, fixed my mistake from earlier, and finished that game two with like 3 minutes left in the round. And in hindsight, if this was a best of three, I would have had plenty of time for a game three. So my point going out there is, yeah, I lost the round because it was a best of one. For all of you out there in Atlanta, understand that if you lose a quick game or you make a mistake and you can't come back from it, realize it and go to the next game. There's a very important skill to understand I can't win, but if I give this one up and go to the next game, I might have a chance to pull it out. Especially if you play a speedy deck, a high damage output deck. I did it in Puerto Rico. Same thing here with Goldango. I knew if I got the right cards, it could be quick. So understand that. I mean, Tiger's beaten that in my head a bunch of times. I mean, with my play style, I have to understand that some games aren't going to go my way, but other games are going to go quick. What you got
Mhm.
on that point, Tiger?
I'm just going to reiterate on that. Yes, understanding when to scoop is one of the most important things you can do. If you're playing a setup deck, let's just use Gardevoir as example. Gardevoir doesn't have the refinement Curly anymore. So if you're playing Gardevoir and then you're going against a Terapagos deck right now. Terapagos wants to go first. Then it wants to just swing, 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 swing. And it's got 3 prizes on you. You don't have the comeback mechanic that you used to have anymore. Understand that it's only been 5 minutes. If you don't have, if at 3 prizes you aren't able to take a prize, just scoop and go to the next one. Gardevoir takes a long time to play. Understand it's only been 5 to 6 minutes because they just went swing, 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 swing. And give yourself the time to finish the game.
Yes.
If you're being like, well, I can do this, and then I can monkey, and then I can do that, and I can take all 6 prizes over the next 2 turns, and you whiff that, now you're 15, 20 minutes in, and you can't finish the set. So the best you're going to get is a tie, and that helps nobody in these events.
Yes. Play to
Well,
give yourself a chance to win.
but Tiger, a tie is better than a loss. Technically, yes, but so many ties is still equivalent to a loss.
We're
You can
seeing
only
it.
get
Go ahead, Tiger.
you can only get X21 and go into day two. So that's still the if you go uh, X03, that's basically the same thing as going 7-2, which is not much better than 6-2-1. It is a 2 point difference, but you skimped by playing too slowly, which meant you could have turned one of those ties into a win and then went 7-0-2, or turn one of those into a loss, but you still got to get through the game. Getting through all 3 games or winning 2-0, losing 2-0 is going to be better off in the long run for you, because there's also the aspect of you go to time every single game, you are adding an extra 15 to 20 minutes to your mental capacity every single
Yes.
round, which
And
will hurt you by round 7 or 8.
yeah, if there's anybody out there that doesn't know what we're talking about, playing 8, 9 rounds of this game at the high level that you're playing, especially if you're at top tables and on somewhat of a win streak, you're 4-1, you're 5-1, you're looking at making day two, that stress eats at you even more than
Mhm.
just playing. I mean, and some players are able to really handle it well, a lot of people aren't. Give yourself the chance to be in the best spot possible. You know, ties are okay. But what we're seeing is in these bigger tournaments, the more ties that happen, those are the people that are being left out. You know, or the ones that aren't even in close to get to where they plan to get. Yeah, they make the next phase, day two, but they don't necessarily have a chance to get into the top because of the ties they took. Because again, not saying they squeaked in, nothing wrong with that. We're saying they just eked into the bottom to where you're not gonna be able to get to the top. Now, if that's your
Mhm.
goal, be happy about it. We are proud for you,
Right.
but not anything negative. Just saying if your goal is to aim higher, those ties are what you want to start to cut out of your record.
Yes, not shaming day twoing at all. I'm still excited every time I squeak into a day two. But I also go into day two knowing that I'm not going to be making top cut. I'm not possibility of not hitting top 16 because I baited into day two. Am I happy with those points? Of course I'm going to be happy with those points. But that's not what we were saying. We are proud of you for making your day two, excited, especially if it's your first one, your first deep run, any of that. Just understanding that sometimes knowing that the possibility of playing out 6 more turns to maybe get a win for a scoop and give me the time to actually play 2 real games
Mm-hmm.
is going to be more beneficial in the long run.
Yeah, so definitely a thought of knowledge there. You guys pay attention to that if you're playing and you get there and realize like this isn't going my way, just think back to what we said here. I'm telling you, it'll help. Now back to that. Our key points from the testing here is Terrabox is everywhere. Be prepared for Terrabox. If you don't have a plan for Cornerstone, if you run nothing but ability attackers, I should say, have a plan for Cornerstone. Um,
Hmm.
Dango, in my opinion too, I'm real happy to say it is in a solid spot right now. The Dun build draws a lot of cards. That's what Dango likes to do, and a crazy damage output. There's a gold Dango list. I'm sure we'll talk about later. I'm gonna put mine up there. Plays Levincia, plays 3 lightning energy, and you're like, why? I can repeatedly do 400 plus damage turn after turn as long as I have the pieces. right? Well, like I said, we'll get into that when we get into our Dango list and our um, when we start talking about them. And then our third point, and Tiger's gonna like this one. Zard is alive. Charizard is not dead. All right, there are builds out there that are doing well. Definitely be aware of it. What do you think about those 3 points, Tig?
I 110% agree. For the Goldango, I still personally think Dragadango is a better build. It might be a little less draw power based, but it has a little bit better of a matchup spread in personal opinion. Um, the Dodango build, I do think draws better cards. And playing the Levincia is a huge upgrade. For any of you that don't know what Levincia does, it's once per turn you can pull 2 lightning energies out of your discard and put it in your hand. So effectively, that's like playing an energy retrieval every single turn. It also bypasses Badoo. What is one of Goldango's biggest weaknesses? Badoo. But all right, cool. We got Badoo locked. We can't do anything. We top deck Levincia. Cool. We got 2 energies back out. That Badoo is gone. And because it's a stadium, not an item, so you're allowed to play it. Charizard. I am 100% behind Charizard. I am playing it to Atlanta. I hope that you guys are not ready for it and don't think it's real because I will run right through you.
All right, so you heard it there. That's actually gonna lead us right into our Tigers top picks for the week. Now I want to give a little disclaimer here before we get these top picks out here. These are not in any certain order. They're just what we feel are the top 5 decks by popularity and power. All right, to explain that just a little further, we mean they are popular, as in people want to play them. You're seeing them on live, you're seeing them in tournaments, you're seeing them on people's Twitters, you're seeing them posted lists about them. All right, and power, meaning it actually has the power to do what they say. Of
Hmm.
course, it's a card game. We know not everything lines up, but if it lines up, it has the power to do the job. All right, so what I'll
Correct.
do is I'll run down the list and then we'll go back to the top and we'll talk at each one. All right, so the first one, by popularity and power, again, in our opinion, Dragapult. Second, Terrabox. Third, Raging Bolt. Fourth, Archaludon. And rounding up the fifth pick is Goldango. So, like I said, we're going to go back through those. Like I said, it's Dragapult, Terrabox, Raging Bolt, Archaludon, Goldango. So, starting with the Dragapult, Tiger, you've played probably more Dragapult than I have for sure, probably more than most people in our group. Why is Dragapult up there in our list of 5?
Dragapult consecutively puts up numbers for people at events. It's a comfort pick. You played it last uh, format. You can still play it now. I am not a Dragapult believer until we get Shaman. I am super worried about Wellspring just destroying you. But if you can get past Wellspring and you're okay to take that risk, go for it. I'm not here for that. I don't like leaving it up to chance of can I survive Wellspring or not. Um, but other than that, it's going to be, in my opinion, and that's what this is all about, is our opinions,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere between 15 and 18% of the meta for Atlanta. So that means that's going to be a few hundred players are going to
Oh,
be playing this deck.
I agree. I mean, you've seen it at full grip, you've seen it online. I mean, people are still behind the pole. Shaman does help the bench. Once we get that, that'll be a lot better for it. Um, Next up, Terrabox.
I think Terrabox is uh, overall the most well-positioned deck going into this event. It only has a couple bad matchups, and want them really just being decks that aren't even highly popularized right now. Um, but it is the new Lost Box. It can deal with anything as long as you get the right pieces. But do you have the brain power to do 9 rounds of best of 3 with it? That's the other thing. It will be one of the most played decks, but I don't think it will convert as well because everybody's like, okay, this is BDIF. I can play BDIF. I just played 6 rounds of it and my brain's mush. I don't know how to keep playing,
Yeah.
is what's going to happen to the average to below average players.
We have seen it time in, time out. You know, the popular list that one that has all these one ofs and pieces, and it looks like this jigsaw. It's a thousand pieces, and you're never gonna put it together. I mean, that's the reason why I test with them, stay away from them as far as playing, because that's a lot of thinking. The knockdown engine is awesome. Being able to fan road them, get set up, get all your stuff, have knockdowns to pick out your trainers the following turns is great. You know, it's amazing. You can pick and find what you need to do, but how many rounds are you going to be able to do that for effectively? And that's the
Correct.
key. Raging Bolt, that's next up on our list. Definitely another high damage output. Also using Knockdown engine in Area Zero to really blow the bench up. I've played against a couple online. I played with one a little bit. I used to play Raging Bolt, kind of like it. Still on the Dango though. What's your feel about the Bolt guy?
Before I jump into that, I forgot to say the percentages. I
Oh.
think Terabox is going to be somewhere between 12 and 15. But to Raging Bolt, I think effectively it has the most power, just raw power in the format. But it does Raging Bolt things sometimes. You're either going to turn two blow up whatever you want, or turn one depending on what happens. Um, but they're just without Pokestop, without Greninja, without some of these extra pieces, it's kind of lacking in getting going. Um, so if Raging Bolt takes more than 2 turns to get going, you've probably already won because you've gotten a swing into it a couple times.
Hmm.
It doesn't have a really good comeback plan. If it's behind in prizes, it better just be because it's you took a one prizer on turn two and then they went 2, 4, 6 and you're only up because of a one prize that doesn't help your prize race. Other than that, I think Raging Bolt will be sitting around 8 to 10%. Just because it is a fan favorite. It is your unga bunga. I want to swing and blow
Oh,
things up.
pretty much.
But I think it's popular. I don't think it's going to convert as well as people think so, unless they just run into a bunch of Dragapults.
Well, and this came to my mind just now. I think it'd be important to ask, especially with Lily's Clefairy out there, turning them into psychic weakness. Is that any scariness for Raging Bolt, or you think that's not a thing?
100%. But I don't know if Lily's Clefairy scares Raging Bolt as much as it does Dragapult because unless you're playing Charms in Raging Bolt, and Charm is in a really weird spot because of all the jamming tower, um, it only has 240 HP. A lot of decks can kind of just deal with that
Hmm.
over whether you're Dragapult and you spread over 2 turns, or you're Gardevoir and you just Monkey Dory punch it because double Monkey Dory off of a Gardevoir will let you hit 250. Um, Charizard hits 240 after you've taken 2 prizes, and they can manipulate that prize by using Dust Noir. So I don't think that Lily's Clefairy specifically is going to hurt Raging Bolt as much as people think. It will make a difference, but not as much as they're already expecting.
Cool. No, honestly, that was something I didn't have down. I just literally we were talking about everything with Lily's Clefairy last night, and honestly, once you said Bolt, I was like, it's Dragon. Wait a second. But again, it does scare Dragapult more than it scares the Raging Bolt. I can see that.
Speaking of Lily's Clefairy, when one of our late night cooking sessions, we I had to have Sean as our head judge clarify a ruling for us. Do not take this to a regional, but you are more than welcome to try this when we finish the list. Lily's Clefairy in an Alakazam EX deck. Alakazam is a psychic type, so it does benefit from Lily's Clefairy. It does 120 damage from the bench, so you can sit behind a wall, and then that 120 is actually doubled, so it can one shot a Raging Bolt by sitting on the bench, sitting behind a Mimikyu or something. That on top of that, if you play Black Belt, that makes the 120 go to 160. Add the Lily Clefairy, doubles. It can one shot a Dragapult from the bench. Like I said, this is not a regional deck, but if you want to go have some fun because there's a bunch of dragons at your locals, putting a Lily Clefairy into an Alakazam deck will get you some fun.
Yeah, definitely a weird one. I'm surprised it's something hasn't been brought up yet. Uh, but yeah, it turns all the dragons' weakness into psychic. Mind Jack, right? Is Mind Jack from the bench? I believe is the name of the attack.
Yeah.
And it attacks the active, and it's now weak to psychic. It has nothing that says do not do weakness and resistance. It's hitting that active that's now weak to psychic.
Hmm.
Definitely something Tiger's been cooking up on, so you'll have to look out for that wonky list when we get done with it. All right, moving on here. This is probably the deck that everybody's heard about. The donk ability is real. Archaladon. There's a couple
Uh,
different versions out there. The main two that I've seen, you got like kind of like a double, maybe a hops kind of thing in it, more of a bulky Archaladon. And then you got the Poison Arch, which the Poison Arch is the one that's gaining a lot of popularity. We were testing it for a bit. At least we got to see what it does. The donk ability is real. Being able to do so much damage before your opponent even draws a card, sitting the poison out there, having that just chill around. I mean, I'm sure Tiger's gonna go into detail a little more about it than I will, but it is crazy. So be ready for that. And let's see, Tiger, what you got on the poison arches?
as we coined it when I was first building it and posting it and talking about it, Mick Poison, because it's the poison arches. Any McDonald's lovers out there? Um, so the goal for the poison arch is you high amounts of carmine, squawk ability, brute bonnet, uh, ancient booster energy capsule. That's a mouthful.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the baby petulant and perilous jungle. The combination of getting baby petulant into the active, whether by petulant EX or Latios to give something free retreat or to just shoot it to the active. The brute bonnet with the capsule on it and the perilous jungle. So the brute bonnet activates poison. That's one tick. The baby petulant, its ability goes up to five, so that's now
Mm-hmm.
six. And then if you add the perilous jungle, that's eight because it gives another two onto non-dark Pokemon. So you can hit 80 damage turn one without doing an attack to KO some of these evolutionary basic Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
And what that does mean you can get a turn one donk. If they got one Dreepy or one Charmander, one uh, Ralt, any of these little guys will just get KO'd before the game even starts.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on the other hand, what this does for the Archaladon is Archaladon hits for 220. You can add the poison to it. Now you're at 230. What that 230 number hits is Terapagos. That's the main 230. I guess there's Hopsdotchian as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets KO'd with the poison, not damage. So that means that it does not trigger Pheasantipity because it is a KO in checkup, not off the attack. Um, now we get all right. Let's add Perilous Jungle in there. Now we're hitting 250. That's KOing Raging Bolt. Is there any 230 to 250, 240 Pokemon I'm missing? I don't think so.
No,
At least one that's
no,
not relevant.
not relevant in the
Um,
meta right now.
but yeah, we get up to 250. It also still died to poison, which means they don't use Pheasantipity. All right, cool. We're using this whole poison package. Let's go ahead and throw in a Mochi because we're playing either Arvins or deep researches and secret box to find these Mochis. What does Mochi do? Any Pokemon that's poisoned gets to do plus 40 damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. All right, so what number does that fix for us? Oh wait, who's a really bad matchup? Goldango. So Goldango now gets hit for 260 because you poison them and added the Mochi.
Clean
Yes, they will
KO.
be able to use Pheasantipity because you hit them for a flat 260, but you're going KO to KO with them, which is something you had lots of problems doing.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a big problem. I've played a few online, and it is definitely tough. My strategy is always try to take out the bonnet. They usually find a way to find the bonnet again. But if they're not able to poison themselves, it makes it a little bit easier. Um, Not a foolproof plan. Usually, I just try to go high damage output, not and outpace them. But be on the lookout for that. Poison Arches is real. All right, my
There
go
are.
ahead. Yeah, your
I was
percentage. I
gonna say
almost forgot.
there's two other types of Archaludon out there. We have the Hops Archaludon with the double, the Zacian. Um, the double's mainly just the gust effect. The Zacian, excuse me, is a 1 to 2 of in a lot of decks, and all that's doing is it hits for 240, which lets them one shot Cornerstone EXs, which
Hmm.
is something that Archaludon cannot get through. That's the only reason that they really play that. And then there's the new one on the board, the Zorark Archaludon deck.
Ooh, yeah, I
Um,
haven't seen that one yet.
so effectively, you just have a bunch of 280 to 300 HP Pokemon on your bench. Zorark draws you cards, gets your metals in the discard pile, and this gives you a draw engine while being able to play either boss or Turo every single turn. So it gives you a little extra maneuverability. Um, and chasing the Zorarks don't really do anything for you because you're playing a bunch of Turos anyway. So if you can't one shot it, they just Turo it. If you do one shot it, you didn't KO their Archaludon, so they swing again.
Yeah.
Um, but combination of all three types of Archaludon, I think we will see somewhere between 15 to 16%. That's covering all three variants. Specifically, each one, I think we're going to see about 8% of the poison and then a combination of the other two.
Okay, that's fair. Very fair. All right, so final on our top picks, and one of my favorites, probably one I'll run my mouth most about, Gold Dango. So there are a couple builds out there. The Dun Dun build is the one that has been doing the most for me, seed most online. Like I said, mine's a little different. I actually was playing one that was still playing Jamming Tower and some other things. I dislike Jamming Tower in that build. It cuts you off so bad. You're not able to TM Evo, even if it's late game, to get something evolved real quick. But my little tick, like I talked about, was a Vincia with 3 lightning energies. So what I like to do is cycle those Dunsparces. I try to start a Dunsparce because if anything, I can run away draw that from the active. I can TM Evo him from the active. If he gets knocked out, that's okay because now I'm bringing up a Gimme Ghoul that will most likely evolve and attack next turn. But with the Levincias, those are the first energies I'm throwing out because, like Tiger said, that's having a stadium energy retrieval every turn it's on the field. A lot of times, it's a great stadium bump. How much
Hmm.
Area Zero is out there? A ton. When I was only running one Levincia, I saw a big problem with Terrabox. By just adding those two, another energy and another Levincia, I was able to really fix that by knocking out some of the Pokemon before they even get a chance. Not knocking them out, I should say, but taking them off the field before they even get a chance. A lot of times you could pair that with a boss. So you could boss up what you really want to knock out or you don't want them to get rid of, bump the area zero. Now they're down and you're knocking out what you wanted to knock out, the scarier threat. Again, back to the high damage output. With that build, you can consistently, even with energy attached to 2 Goldangos, consistently do 400 each turn. There is not anything that can withstand the 400. Even the Buffalant build can be beaten with that one. It's kind of tough. The Buffalant turtle, by the way. I'm sorry I wasn't too clear. The turtle that plays the Buffalant, anything that gets the plus 60, essentially 60 DR.
For an
So
effective one shot to KO a Terapagos with the Bouffalance, you have to hit for 290 because it's a 60 DR.
yeah, which can be difficult as the game's gone on and you've got energies thrown away or locked up that you can't get to. But that's one thing that it can literally get to with the high damage output. I love it. I think it's in a great spot. I'm not saying it's going to win the tournament, but I do think a lot of the Gold Dangle players out there will play it, will have fun with it. My prediction is you'll see one at least on stream that's running towards the top. I don't know if it'll make the top. Really depends on who's playing it. Sequencing is huge in that matchup, or in that deck, I should say. But I'll go ahead and give it to Tiger because he's been the one coaching me up on Dango for the past couple, I don't know, since it came out.
Um, yeah, there's the three types of Goldango right now. There's the Dango with the Dunsparce in it, the Scizor Dango, and the Dragadango. Still, personally, I think if you're going to play one, I would choose the Dragadango. Dango being second up. Scizor, it just doesn't do enough for you.
Stop. I want it to.
Because Scizor is based on your opponent's ability to understand what the card does. if uh, if they put two Pokemon with abilities, sure, Scizor's great. But if they realize, oh hey, I just need to limit what I put down with abilities, and Scizor doesn't do anything, and now you're in a problem, and you've got dead cards in your deck.
Yeah.
Um, because Scizor effectively does the same thing as what the Dunsparce EX and the Dragapult does in the matchup for you. It's there to help you with Cornerstone. Um, but punching for 60 a turn doesn't do a whole lot if they go down to a solo Cornerstone. Um, for Dudan for Dudango, I'm gonna have a tongue twister there.
Yeah.
Um, it draws way more cards than either of the other two versions. You can consistently get energies back because of the Levincias, because you don't have to play an extra fighting and psychic for the Dragapult version. You don't need more extra metals for the Scizor version. It's just your three metals, your three lightnings, and one of every other color.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Dunsparce is colorless, it can use any energy to power up its attack. Um, the Dunsparce EX basically has the same effect as what Scizor does, as in it damage ramps based on your opponent's bench size. It hits for 60 for each EX Pokemon your opponent has. So yeah, if Terrabox went wide and throws a
Mm-hmm.
Cornerstone at you because they wanted to stall, then sure you can use it there. If they didn't have anything and they put a Cornerstone up, it's not going to do anything. Same thing with the Scizor. But having it as an extra one of card in your deck versus specifically adding in four cards to do the same thing seems better.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're already playing the extra draw engine of the regular Dunsparce on top of your Goldango. Um,
Yeah, that's actually
but
pretty
like
cool.
Sean,
But
go ahead.
before you get that past this point, that Dunsparce EX is actually what I've been able to do is Monkey is another thing we didn't talk about. Monkey Dory, Dragapult counter. If they've put some damage out there from whatever, you can actually Monkey 30 to the Cornerstone. If they have Cornerstone out, they have Wellspring out, and they have Teal Mask out, you're gonna hit that Cornerstone for knockout. And it's not, you can't, no one sees it coming, is what I'm trying to get at. Didn't mean to cut you off, Tiger, but that was
All
one
right, you're
thing
good.
I've noticed in play was that's a sneaky way to get that. They deal with that Cornerstone right away before they really get to sit behind it.
Yeah, so basically what Sean's saying is if they use like a Wellspring or something and there's residual damage on the board,
Mm-hmm.
you can use that to manipulate how many EXs they needed to have for the Dunsparce EX to be able to KO the Cornerstone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and again, you can use Monkey Dory because you play every energy color.
Yeah.
So you can power it up for an attacker because with a Psychic and a Dark, you can just use it as an ability to move the damage back over to increase your output over X amount of turns. Um, but yeah, then the back to what I was saying,
Mm-hmm.
the Dragapult Goldango version has seen hype. It's made it some Champions Leagues. It's done some different things overall. It does draw a couple cards less than the Dunsparce version, and it does have a couple extra energies in there comparatively versus the Dunsparce version. But having a more effective cornerstone attacker feels better to me. Also, spreading the damage after you did the attack. So if you go punch for 200 and sprinkle one onto a Wellspring, one onto a Teal Mask, uh, whatever's left onto one of the Hoot Hoots, then you can do it again. If they don't turn around and KO your Dragapult, you can go boss one of those guys that you sprinkled the Teal Mask, and you put 200 on that, and you put one on the Cornerstone, you put the rest over on the Hoot Hoot, you took five prizes off two attacks.
Yeah.
Um, and if they are able to recover the KO, now everything is been dropped one whole energy lower for Goldango to KO because you put them from 210 to 200. But that's a little extra math manipulation that you might not be wanting to do, ready to do, or it's just easier for you to just say, all right, cool. I swing this energy. I hit big numbers.
Yes, I've done both. I do agree with Tiger on the numbers. It takes a little more thought process when you're playing the Dragon Dango, but it can fix some numbers. But yeah, that's enough. Definitely, a lot of people are on Dango. I'm excited to see it do well. I'm hoping to see it do well. I'll be playing it. Probably, I don't know if I'll play any standard Friday. I might. If I do, that's the standard deck I have built, so that's what I'm gonna play. But
Percentage for
yeah,
Goldango, I'm going to say across all three will be somewhere between 5 to 7%. It is
yeah,
popular. It's going to be either the bottom of the main graphic or top of best of the rest.
that's what I was gonna say. I don't. If it doesn't make the main, it's gonna be one of the best of the rest. So back to our spotlight focus for this week is Tiger's pick to play in Atlanta. We'll give you the details on Zard. I'm going to post the list up like we talked about. We'll have a picture in the bottom of this description. I'm going to put it right here, so you'll see it here in a second while he's talking about it. So, Tiger, go ahead and tell the world about this famous Zard list that you're cooking up here, Chef.
I have been trying to make the most consistent version I can make. Um, and consistent is loosely phrased because in a format where we have very low amount of cards to use, you can only do so much without shoving four buddies, four nests, four ultra, four great, four whatevers to be consistent. Um, but it is aggressively getting set up on turn one. Uh, I'm not. You're not scared of Terra Box. You're not scared of Archaludon. I actually hope I see 9 Archaludons going down to Atlanta. Um, but there's a couple iffy matchups. The what is it? The Rogue Tyranitar item lock deck is a really bad matchup,
I haven't even seen
but
that one.
you're not going to see that.
I haven't seen that one.
Uh, Dragapult is not as bad as everybody makes it seem. So far, between in person and online, I'm like 6 for 9 on beating Dragapults. Um, they hope the Badoo lock sticks. If the Badoo doesn't stick, you just win because on if they aren't able to swing and blow up your board on turn two after they Badoo locked you, they either have to throw another Badoo, which means that they wasted resources to get another Badoo out, or they don't get to play the game. Um, I have a specific combo in the deck to be able to get past Badoo and attack on turn two, even with them having the item lock up. I'm not scared to tell people about it. Color's Tenacity plus Jet Energy. So turn one, you get your Fan Rotom out. Fan Rotom gets you your Hoot Hoot Noctowls. As long as you get a Terapagos on board, you can use the Noctowl. Noctowl gets you Color's Tenacity and one other piece that you're going to need. Color's Tenacity finds you a Stadium and an Energy card. What do you need to make uh, Fan Rotom attack? A Stadium and an Energy card. So, Stadium gets pulled, gets played, and if your Fan Rotom's on the bench, you can grab Jet Energy, and that'll shoot it to the active. If you started the Fan Rotom, you can just grab a Fire Energy and swing, and now you are swinging under Badoo Lock on turn two, and like I said, that either makes them reset up the Badoo Lock, or they better be ready to start swinging with Dragapult that turn. And they didn't get any extra pressure. They didn't get to draw a bunch of cards. They probably won't have that good of a setup. So they're probably going to go under Badulok again, which means I get more time to get my board established because I'm just swinging with Fan Rotom.
Very
So
solid.
yeah, it is not as scary as people think, especially if you can pull the Colress Jet combo off.
Yeah, that is something that I never thought Carlos Tenacity would actually find its way into a deck, to be honest, but it works well here. I mean, it's definitely one of the most underplayed supporters, I will say. Um, it's powerful. There isn't much other Stadium Search in this format. You've got Secret Box, okay, but then you're eating up your A spec. Um, I mean, other than raw drawing into it, that is one way you can for sure that your fan room's going to fire, pun intended, with fire energy, when needed to get out of that Badoo lock. I mean, Badoo has scared a lot of decks, but as you can see from Dango, you can see from Tiger Zard, we all have a plan for it if needed. Yes.
Um,
Anything else on Zard? Honestly, I didn't want
one of the biggest things that people keep asking me about, I'm playing the Volcanion EX in my list.
to. Oof, yeah,
Um,
good stuff.
uh, Everybody's like, why do you need the Volcanion? What does it do? What does it help you in? Well, if you start it, you get a little early game damage as well. So Charizard starts at without any prizes 180 damage. Well, if you get excuse me, if you get a burn on something on one of these big basics, and all right, so that's 20 damage on it. If they don't get the if the burn stays on there, that's 40 damage on it. Now, as soon as you go into Charizard, plus your 180, you should have swung for 220 to
Hmm.
KO one of these big basics. But that's not the main purpose of it. The main purpose of it, it helps in the Goldango matchup. Goldango is a very scary to be able to one shot Charizards back to back, or the Terapagos since there's no Bouffalance in a Charizard version. Um, you can go instantly into a Volcanion KO on them. So turn two, swing into with the Volcanion, move an energy back to Charizard, and then you can either then after they if they KO the Volcanion, cool, you're set up to start swinging with Charizard. If they go after the Charizard, you just swing with the Volcanion again. And if you are able to pull off a Dusknoir in that turn two to turn three turn, you've already locked up game basically
Hmm.
because they effectively can't come back out of that.
Yeah, it's happened multiple
The other
times.
big purpose for Volcanion, Pikachu. Pikachu is a very interesting thing with its Resolute Heart. Doesn't matter if I'm swinging for 330, that Pikachu's only taking 190 damage that turn. So if I burn it and then retreat or jet or something else that can KO it, then it's fine. You burn it. I hit it with the Charizard. I hit it with the Terapagos. Any of that. If I'm debating a Kieran in the deck, so if I go Kieran plus Volcanion, that makes Volcanion hits 190, and then the burn is the extra 20, which then KOs the Pikachu as well. But that's the two main purposes of the Volcanion: getting through Pikachu and having a one-shot attacker early games into Goldengo.
There you guys got it. That's the secrets on the Zard from the chef himself. I've seen it in action. He's not kidding about the. Yeah, he's over there with the cooking. That Volcanion play is scary. Like I, as a Goldango player, we've had many a matches to work on that, and it is tough. It literally does put you in a checkmate situation. It doesn't matter which way you go, either which way you are going to lose that match. Back to our point earlier, if you see that and you know that, scoop and go to the next game.
Mm-hmm. If I've gotten you at three prizes already because I gave you one with a Dust Noir and you haven't taken a KO yet because I went first on then you on turn two use your TM Evo and I go Dust Noir the active Pokemon and you have to forcibly push up a Goldango. I KO the Goldango with your with the Volcanion. What do you do? Because I have three prizes, you're at one. If you KO the Volcanion, Charizard gets the swing for 270. If you go chase the Charizard, I swing the Volcanion again, and I'm already at five prizes.
Yeah, so definitely that's one of those situations where we're talking about evaluate the board, see what's going on, and if you can't finish it off, go to the next game. If it's game one and it was quick, go to the next one. Give yourself time to play. That'll definitely be the main part of this episode. I'd say that.
Yeah.
But other than that,
Understanding time.
yeah, other than that, we're going to Atlanta, so I'm excited. I know Tiger's excited. He used to live down there. We're here in West Virginia where it's been a cold snap. I'm looking outside and it looks nice.
Random snow over the past couple days.
It's sun outside, but you walk out and it's absolutely freezing right now. To me, at least, I'm always cold. But we're gonna get some sunny weather in Georgia, some great food, right, Tiger? What are you excited about here in Atlanta?
I'm excited for the warm weather. I'm excited, like I said earlier, I want to hit up a Taco Mac. Um, there are some interesting food trucks out there. There's a vegetarian food truck that runs around. It's a whole chain down there. It's a red-headed SLUT food truck,
Very
and
good
all
on
they
the
do
spelling. Thank you for that.
is it literally only does vegetarian food for anybody out that goes down there is not a big meat person because Atlanta is part of the dirty South, so there's a lot of greasy meats down there.
Hmm. No, I'm
Um,
excited for it.
Wings are huge down there. Fried chicken in general. Um, Southern tacos. Everything under the sun. You ain't gonna hear this fat kid complain about going to Atlanta for food.
Nice. I noticed that they got the Olympic Centennial Park there, so I'm super excited. When I go to regionals, that's one thing I like to do. Those memories of walking through places that you may never be again, I enjoy it. I mean, I snap a bunch of pictures. You can ask Tiger. Usually, the first part of that trip, I'm picture, 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 picture. But those are things that I can go back on and look and have those memories. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's the only time I'm ever in Atlanta and get to stand outside those rings and have someone take a picture. You know what I mean?
There's been many a times we've traveled somewhere and he hands me a phone like I can't get this angle, take the picture,
Mm-hmm.
because he wants a picture of some random cool shaped building or a fountain in the middle of nowhere that's lit up because it's dark time and we can't get past it again because we're going down a one way. And it's just shoving a phone in my face to say take pictures.
I can't help it, but again, as that's the graphic designer, that's the artist in me. Tons of pictures. You never know what's gonna turn out from them, and I've actually had a lot of good ones. I mean, some of the Puerto Rico pictures I take are just, whew, they're amazing. So that's one thing I'm excited for. Of course, I'm judging, so I'll be in sides. I'll be judging head judge the challenge and assistant head judge the challenge on Sunday. So challenge Saturday, challenge Sunday. Anybody that wants to come and have a fun challenge, yes, it's CP, but you get prize wall tickets. Come out, have some fun. There's a ton of side events going on. I believe I linked it in our last video. I'll link it again in this video. You can go to Gaming Gen in their website, scroll through, see the Atlanta regionals. It shows you the whole lineup of sides for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. There's a lot of stuff going on. For those that are new to the game, they got first steps. For those that are just getting started with it, they got all types of building battles where you get the kit. You don't have to even bring the cards. So after you've done first step and you've got a handle on the game, a lot of times you can move on up to a building battle and have some fun, pull some cards and get some cool shiny stuff to play with. And heck, even if you get up step higher, you can jump into a pod, playing an 8 player pod. A lot of people will group up, find your group up in a pod. If you're not comfortable with playing it like the regional pace, that's one way to ease into it and still enjoy the game of Pokemon.
100%. Everything from pack battles to GLC to 8 player pods.
Yeah. So we are actually at the hour mark. I believe this might be our first episode that we have pushed to the hour mark without an outside interview. So yes, we've been trying to grow this thing. So it's been a little strange at first. Sitting in front of a camera is kind of different talking about Pokemon. But as we start growing with this, we appreciate you guys following us out there, pushing us through. If there's anything you want to hear, comment, let us know. Subscribe, get the updates when we post videos. Like I said, we're gonna have a special episode at Atlanta, live-ish, I say. I mean, if it's not live, it'll be like next to live, as I call it. We'll record it, I'll upload it, it'll be there. So expect this on Friday morning, um, and then we'll have another special episode on Friday at the regional at Atlanta, showing off maybe some of our pokey swag we got, um, our trip in, everything else like that. So definitely be sure to check in for that.
Yeah, guys, when we do this, when you see myself, Sean, Pokey Snack Dad, Troy, come say hi. Come get in on the the video with us. If we're
Mm-hmm.
sitting there talking, come wave, get in there, photo
Please
bomb
do.
us. Then sit down, have some games with us, hang out, tell us what if you like or don't like something. Help us make it better for you.
Yes,
Remember, do the podcast thing and like, share, subscribe.
please.
Just saying first on the comments, uh, saying, hey, I like that, hey, I don't like that. It boosts the algorithm. It helps us to understand what's going on, who gets to see this. And it's just future pushes us into the right direction to make better content for you guys.
Yeah. We hope to bring a lot more to you. Like I said, we were talking about Twitch streaming, Sunday tournaments, organizing tournaments. I'm actually put in for a new organizer. I'm not sure how it's gonna work out. I got the email. I'm on the wait list. We'll see how it is. I know we can do limitless tournaments, which we've been talking about. Just got to find the time to find the right day and not impede on other tournaments. But who knows? You guys might see a Goldang Bros limitless tournament coming out soon. All right. So, from your guys out here, go ahead and let Tiger sign off. I think I signed off last week, so go ahead and let Tiger sign us off today.
Um, Thank you guys again here at the Goldang Bros. Uh, all we want to do is make good content for you guys. So stay lucky.
Stay lucky. See you out there.